Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Challenge Cup final between the Sharks and Gloucester. Now, this one has been highly anticipated. The Sharks and the URC not quite performing as many thought that they would. Gloucester a little bit the same in the Gallagher Premiership, but now these two sides have the perfect opportunity to lift a trophy for this season. The big question is, who will get themselves the win? It is going to be at Tottenham's home stadium. So neither side having the home advantage, although you would say a little bit more an advantage for Gloucester here, seeing as they have not had to fly from South Africa in this contest. And looking through at Gloucester's starting lineup, it is Ford Robinson in the front row alongside Seb Blake and Balmain as the number 3. Clark and Clark, spelt with one E and spelt without in the locking duo. Ackerman, Ludlow, as well as Zach Mercer as the loose forward trio. Inglefield alongside Hastings will be the 19 combo, with the midfield being Seb Atkinson and Chris Harris. I feel like that is somewhere that Gloucester will certainly look to use those two men and get themselves in a position of attack. That's the thing. They've had a couple tough games recently, Gloucester, but even in those tough games, with the exception of one of them, they've been able to score themselves a lot of points. So that is somewhere Chris Harris and Atkinson, of course, in that midfield will be so important for this Gloucester side. Thorley out on one wing, Johnny May out on the other, and the Argentine superstar at 15, and Santiago Herreras. But looking through at the Sharks starting lineup, when you look through at it, you can just see Bok after Bok after Bok, and perhaps future Boks as well. We got the recent news that Damien Valimza will be out for around 4 months. Does that open up the door for a certain 15 to make his way into the Springboks? But Oxner Shea in the front row alongside Bongyum Nambi and Vincent Koch. So an all front row of the Springboks here for the Sharks. Evan Etzebeth at 4, the enforcer. He's always dangerous, and when you put him into some sort of final, of course the last final he was in, he certainly won it, and the Springboks went back-to-back. Gurvan Hrubala will be at 5, who has had, for me, a little bit of an underrated season. The amount of work that man does, including his work in turning over lineouts, which is somewhere that the Sharks may find themselves having a few opportunities in this game. James Fenter with Vincent Tachuka and Pepsi Buthelezi as the loose forward trio. Grant Williams and Sia Masuku perhaps could be a 19 combo that the Boks do slightly go with. That's the thing. The way that it's going to be announced, the game up against Wales, we do not actually get to see certain Springbok sides or certain URC sides included depending on the results of their URC quarterfinals. So there is a chance we see no Bulls players in a URC, or they might be in the semi, which means that they aren't going to be in the box. So there's a lot of opportunities for these young players to get the chance. Francois Fenter alongside Ethan Hooker in the midfield with Makazole Mapimpi Werner Klock, and also Apalele Fassi there at number 15. But as you guys can probably tell, I'm very excited for this game. These two sides, like I mentioned, this is their opportunity to pretty much add a little bit of silverware to their seasons. The Sharks and the URC have been a little bit lower than they would have liked to be, definitely with the amount of talent that they have got available for those games. So my prediction, Gloucester come out firing, or come out fast and overexcited, knock on a few. The Sharks scrum them back to Stone Age, says Jimbo there for his prediction. And good morning, Hamish. Great game. Start your day. How was your sleep, says Marnus. It was pretty short, the sleep overall, but we were watching that game last night between the Rebels and the Brumbies, which in the end was pretty one-sided in favour of the Brumbies. But this game, it's going to be an exciting one. It's a 7 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand, and we are currently sitting around 6 minutes away from the start of this contest. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are also going to be back for the Champions Cup final, which is starting in only less than 24 hours' time between Leinster and Toulouse. But the recent form, first of all, for the Sharks, their last game, they were defeated by Cardiff, 36 points to 14. Now, they did go with a secondary side in that contest. That is so that they were fresh for this game. Unfortunately, with the strenuous schedule of the URC, it does mean that you can't really afford to play your best lineup every single week. The Sharks are already in a position where they cannot make the top 8, so they decided why not go with a bit of an experimental side. They did lose that game up against Cardiff, 36 points to 14. They had a close game up against Benetton in the week prior, 25 points to 24 loss for the Sharks, but the one that mattered, the 1-by-1 point this one, Sharks versus Clermont, that was in the semi-final, and with some brilliance from Masuku off the kicking tee, it allowed the Sharks to get into a position where they were able to get themselves through to this final, where they do go head-to-head with Gloucester in this game. In Gloucester's recent form, they were able to get themselves a big win over Newcastle, 54 points to 14. The game the week prior, I mean, they went with a secondary side, but no secondary side should be getting beaten by 90 points to 0. So that is a little bit of a concern. There is that saying, you're only as good as your bench, and unfortunately Gloucester may be a little bit light when it comes to the replacements that they have got available for this game and also for the rest of the Gallagher Premiership. The game prior to that, they were able to beat Benetton in the semi-final. Nice win there, 40 points to 23. Good morning, says Lollipop. And there, do you know that the Tottenham Stadium is actually a football stadium, the home of football side Tottenham Hotspur? I certainly do. That's what we mentioned a little bit ago, of course. Not used to having rugby games being played here, and I guess that's probably evident from the fact that the crowd are not sold out. I think that if this one, I want to say if this was a home game for Gloucester, they would have been able to get probably a bigger crowd than they've got for this one, but it is what it is. They're still going to be having this game in England, and hopefully we get to see a few Sharks supporters at the game as well. Good evening / morning, says Flesh, and welcome in, mate. And also we have got good luck Sharks tonight, says Eddie. Well, that's the thing. Everyone from South Africa, it seems like everyone's come together to wish the Sharks luck in this contest because they are the only side theoretically that cannot make the top 8 of the URC. But South African sides in general want to see the Sharks side flourish in this competition. It's already further than we've seen any South African side go in the Challenge Cup. Of course, Champions Cup, there are no South African sides remaining. We saw the Stormers knocked out, we saw the Bulls knocked out, and now it's all about, in this situation for the Sharks, getting a bit of trophy and getting a little bit of silverware going back to South Africa. Good morning, Hamish. Hope the Sharks win this game, says Brian. And they do play a few rugby games there, says Fleshin. Have they done much of it outside of the Premiership, Fleshin, overall? Because I know that they are going to be having their contest between Toulouse and Leinster also taking place here, which is an interesting choice, to be honest. I would have thought that you go with a home field advantage, but I guess it is already predetermined. It's finally raining in Perth, 3 a.m. Says reflecting trees and come on the Sharks make South Africa proud tonight. And I mean, they've certainly got the side to do it. When you look through at the starting lineup, you can count 4 Springboks just in the first 4 players that you read off. Just looking through once again for anyone who hasn't seen the side for the Sharks in this contest. Oxner Share, Bongi Manambi and Vincent Koch as the front row in this matchup. Eben Etzebeth and Gerbrand Grobela will be the men in the locking joy with James Fenter, Vincent Tachuka, and also Pepsi Buthelezi there as the number 8. Grant Williams and Sia Masuku as the 19 combo with Francois Fenter and Ethan Hooker on the outside. Makazole Mapimpi, Werner Koch, and also Apelele Fassi there at number 15. For Gloucester, a few of the players to watch out for, I believe. First of all, Lewis Ludlow as their number 7, but more so the midfield combo of Seb Atkinson and Chris Harris with the danger of Johnny May and Santiago Correras there at number 15. But the two sides have now made their way out onto the field, ladies and gentlemen. The first ever final in a Challenge Cup for a South African side. In fact, when they made it to the semis, it was the furthest that a South African side had ever made it. And now this is their big opportunity. I think they have played a few Euro games there, says Fleshin, and I says Patrick Brady, and this is a big one, says David. It certainly is a big opportunity for these two sides. The way that it currently sits on the URC table, the Sharks, like I said, cannot make the quarterfinals. They are currently sitting in 13th place on 25 points. The team in 9th, the Lions, they are on 49, and they are still not confirmed to go through to the next stage. And just to give you guys a little bit of a comparison, Gloucester are sitting on 32 points in the Gallagher Premiership. The only side below them, Newcastle, who are on an 18-match losing streak for this season. That is not great. I thought Newcastle, did they really not won a game this season? I thought they got one at one point, but they lost 85 to 14 up against Bristol not too long ago. So Gloucester certainly in a better position than they are, but Matthew Raynell will be the referee in charge of this one. Vincent Koch, Mr. Incredible, once you see it. Yeah, he does look very similar to the dad in The Incredibles, and hopefully Stormers edge to the playoffs, says David. And of course, next week we are going to get to see a couple South African derbies taking place in the URC. We are going to be covering both of them on the channel, ladies and gents. But this game just about to kick off between the Sharks and Gloucester. This is one of those matchups. Some would consider it a dream match. Some probably haven't even thought of these two sides playing off when we got the announcement of the Challenge and Champions Cup involving South African sides. But from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Masuku kicks it off. And the Challenge Cup 2024 final is now underway. Zach Mercer with the first carry for Gloucester with them inside of their own 22. And straight away, it looks like Inglefield will roll this one back and look for the box kick. Now, Eben Etzebeth, he will be lurking around the side of that breakdown any chance that he can to try and get that turnover. Apalele Fasi claims it just inside of his own half, puts a high of his left boot and takes the man out in the air. And that's going to be a penalty early on, going the way of Gloucester. A bit of ill-discipline there from Apalele Fasi. I think it was also the fact that he was going up for the jump, but just never quite timed it. And yeah, just took the man out in the air. It was actually a little bit worse in that replay. He wanted to go up for it. It sounds like it's going to be a yellow card, is it? No, he has not been. Okay, we're all right. I was going to say, it's a little bit early to have a yellow card in a final, only 58 seconds in. Sharks got so much Springboks in their side. Nashab, Bongi Manambi, Koch, Etzebeth, Mapimpi, Williams. Winning this game will be big for them for winning a trophy still and not doing good in the URC. Says Marnus. And yeah, it's one of those ones that, as crazy as it does sound, the Sharks, this is not what I think, by the way, but the Sharks could be the only side from South Africa with any sort of trophy in this year, or a big driving tackle from James Venter. Now, I do believe that the other South African sides are going to do well in the URC playoff games, but the Sharks, they've got the perfect opportunity here if they can get themselves a big win over Gloucester, who have got themselves possession about 35 metres out from the Sharks try line. Inglefield going short side again. That was a bit high from Makazole Mapimpi. So another penalty advantage. Ill discipline from the Sharks, costing them early here and giving opportunities to Gloucester to try and mount an attack. Now across, looking towards that midfield combo, but can't quite get it there as of yet. And they will go back for the penalty again. My boyfriend from Durban is there watching in the crowd. Couldn't find a live stream to join him, says Georgia. And as well, I do hope he does enjoy the game. I assume he's predicting a Sharks win, I would assume, Georgia, in that case. Hello, Hamish from Icy Cold Cape Town and Morena Kiwi Lads Farnell. Hope all is well. Go Gloucester, says Nars Williams. And Mapimpi is his favourite, or is my favourite, says Georgia there. Well, we did just see him in action, Makazole Mapimpi, although sadly it was from a high tackle. And now Gloucester, they have decided to kick for the corner here. They have straight away shown some very strong intent. They've decided there's no point going for threes, even though normally taking a 3 in a final is the best case scenario, just keeping on ticking over those points. They've said, nah, we want 7 from the get-go. It's going to be thrown in by Seb Blake, looking for the rolling maul here. Gloucester, it's been forced sideways, well sacked by the Sharks. Or have they? No, it's actually a penalty advantage. Now looking to fire it out the back line. Bit loose there from Gloucester, but well cleaned up by Chris Harris. And they'll go back for another penalty in favour. Oh, hang on. Matthew Raynell. Okay, Eben Etzebeth just being a little bit warned here by Matthew Raynell. He's pretty much said that's 3 penalties in 3 minutes, including a sack 5 metres out from the line. Unless that gets sorted, someone might be getting themselves sent to the bin. Hang on. We've still got time off. I think Matthew Raynell was just checking something else. Tackle lower. AI Sharks making it easy. I can't call it here, Hamish. Says Roof, and Gloucester could overpower the Sharkies. Says Roof, and come on Sharks, bring it home please, says Brandon. And what's your score prediction, by the way, Hamish? I think these two sides are going to be split by less than 10 points. And I think that Gloucester are going to start this match pretty well, as they will, I guess, they'll feel like they've got that home field advantage, and it sounds like they actually do as well. Never a pen, says Jim on this one now, working towards the touchline. They've been bundled into touch. And tell you what, Andrew Brace would have been very nervous there. He's had players fall either side of him. But great work from the Sharks, and specifically it seems like Vincent Tsuka was the man who was able to force it over the sideline. When will the URC final be? Normally it is late June, so somewhere around maybe the 25th of June. It actually means that if South African sides make it through to the URC final, they will not be able to participate in the... Oh, nice long throw from Bongi Manami. But yeah, they won't actually be able to participate in that Welsh game. And even if they make it through to the semi-finals, now it's going to be kicked into touch by Masuku. Gets it down to the 22, but the Sharks still under pressure in terms of the territory at the moment, but they've done well to be able to defend just out from their line, and they have to ride this early wave that Gloucester have created here. If they can stop them from scoring, that not only is going to give them confidence for their defence, but that is also going to dwindle the confidence of Gloucester when it comes to their attack. Like I said, this is a side that last week managed to score themselves over 50 points. The week prior, they conceded 90. So the best thing for the Sharks to do is get a few early tries and make Gloucester think that it's going to be a long day at the office like it was those few weeks ago. Now, nice low tackle made by Sia Masuku. That ball popped out the side. Englefield snipes through the gap, and he has been hit hard by Makazole Mapimpi. Skip pass out wide to Johnny May. Looks like he's got the haircut of a 12-year-old who got his hands on the razor. Now off to the left-hand side. Ackerman runs close. That was also very close to a knock-on, but Englefield now goes back across to the left-hand side. Skip pass, nicely claimed, and running back inland was Thorley. 5 metres out from the line at the moment. Even needs to keep his goal, not lose his head. Says Ruth. Now in behind again. Short ball to Ackerman. There are some big shots being exchanged early from these two sides. Little Seller the dummy. They get within 5 again here, Gloucester. Englefield goes across to Zach Mercer. Got the offload away to Johnny May. One more pass was all it needed, but they decided against it. Now around the side of the breakdown, using their lock Arthur Clark. And we have got their Sharks win this game. They will be promoted to the Investec Champions Cup, although not ending in the top 8 in the URC. That is also going to be another penalty advantage in favour of Gloucester. Around the side, Ruan Ackerman. It's about his 3rd carry already at this stage of the match. It'll flick out the back door. It's missed the passing chance to Thorley. They'll go back for another penalty. Imagine how great this matchup would have been if it wasn't for the Peasant Cup. Hope everyone's well, says Sebastian here. Welcome in, Sep. And the Guppies, by winning this championship, might just kickstart their future. If they sort the negative issues, they negated their game the last few seasons. Says Ilmar. Right, already. He's going to the pocket here, Matthew Raynell. This is a yellow card now for the Sharks. 4 penalties in a row, including a few in front of their own try line. Apalele Fasi, the man who is being sent to the bin. That is huge. And unfortunately, I mentioned about it. The fact that Damien Valimza is injured. It means that there's the opportunity to step up and take that 15 jersey. Fussy, one thing that people mentioned about him was that little bit of ill discipline and also the fact that his tackling's a bit suspect at times. This game's not going to help it if that's the way that it continues. But he is now off the field for the next 10 minutes, and Gloucester again will be 5 metres out from the line with just all momentum going their way. But the Sharks are yet to concede, even though they have just had so much pressure coming towards them. A nice rolling maul for Gloucester, well shut down by the Sharks. They managed to get it out the back door. Englefield now. 10 metres from the line, protecting the ball. The halfback even having to join that breakdown. We know the Sharks are good with a line out or with a breakdown steal. We saw that from Werner Klock earlier on when they already had the penalty advantage against them. But Englefield going back across again, trying to use this midfield. Flat run from Harris. Englefield again, looking for the grubber in behind. Smart play from Gloucester, but they've blown the chance. They're going back, though, for another penalty in their favour. This whole game's being played under penalty advantage in favour of Gloucester at the moment. The Sharks win this final. Will they be promoted? Sorry, that was a question, wasn't it? Yes, I believe so. I think they do make it through to the Champions Cup. They've kicked it for the corner again here, Gloucester. 5 penalties against the Sharks. Now, something that is slightly beneficial is the fact that we saw the Hurricanes concede. That's a very loud air horn or something that they've just let go. Yep, they've sorted that out. That was a very loud noise. I wonder if that was just for us or whether everyone got their ear horn. That's now going to be going across to the right-hand side. Flat run from Harris. He tries to stretch out and he was short by 1 millimetre, which now gives the ball to the Sharks. Bit of a, I guess you could call it a simple mistake from Harris, but it's going to be hugely, hang on, because there's a knock-on from Chris Harris. They want to check it. He thinks he's short, I believe. And Johnny Main, as it has been, blew that. And every chance they haven't been beaten in 2 cup comps, have gone all the way, or gone all in this cup. And Sharks must stop making penalties. Yeah, so far they have given away a huge amount. Even it's to be a fantastic work to be able to cut that ball off. And Harris, just a little bit of a lapse in judgment, thought that he was going to be able to reach out and touch that try line, but he was unable to. And because of it, it means that they are in a position where they can have their own scrum, in this case, for the Sharks. But yeah, it's been a tough road at the moment for them when it comes to their defence. But the benefit that they've got is they are still not conceded after 8 minutes of out-and-out pure attack from Gloucester, whether that's passing it out wide, whether it's using their forwards, either way, it is yet to be broken. What soccer team do you support? I don't really have a football team, to be honest, or soccer team. I mean, I like watching the Wellington Phoenix play just because they're from New Zealand, but like in terms of Premier League and whatnot, I don't really have a team, to be honest. Irish looking pretty hot, and his commentary is fabulous. Says Ruth. Well, thank you very much, Ruth, showering me in compliments early in the morning. Much appreciated. Grant Williams about to feed this ball in for the Sharks. This is the most possession that they have had throughout this contest, and they have got a massive scrum there, and they win the penalty. And that was for the knee going down of Gloucester. Massive push from Vincent Koch, Bungi Umbanambi, and Austin Shea in that front row. Hi, Kiwi, says Barry Green. Welcome in, mate. And I all go the Sharks, says Caitlin. And as well, I hope you are also doing well, Caitlin. Your side, of course, in action here. I think they're your side. I just assume geographically that they're your team anyway. But, yeah, they're under pressure at the moment, but they're doing all right. They haven't conceded. Who here in the chat supports Liverpool? I assume you, seeing as you got their logo as your logo on YouTube. Love your streams, man, says David. And Loserpool, that's my name for my Liverpool. Now, bye-bye, Jorgen, says a Roof there. But total phases, we have seen 4 phases for the Sharks and 29 for Gloucester. 100%. Says Caitlin there, and that's going to be stolen by Gloucester at line-out time. So the Sharks will have to wait a little bit longer before they get their 5th phase in this Challenge Cup final. You make us feel so included, says David. Well, that's the thing. Like, there are certain games that sadly we don't get a chance to read as much chat, like when it's flat out in the contest, but like we always try and read every single message. So even if it takes a couple minutes to get to the message that you guys have put, like I'm going to try my best to read out every single one, because at the end of the day, you've gone through the effort of commenting it. So I should at least like read it out, you know. And that's going to be kicked in behind. Well taken by Makazole Mapimpi, just inside of the Sharks 22. He will take the quick tap off the mark. And now Masuku will boot it downfield, but it's well cleaned up by Hastings, who will now run this one back. Oh, it's been charged down. An awkward bouncing ball, but Mapimpi again will give it back to Masuku. And that is a great kick downfield. Playing the territory game here, the Sharks. Probably not a bad decision, seeing as they haven't had the ball that much. It's utterly stressful because we're working on the type of project that I've never done before. Don't want to F it up, says Sebastian. I know that feeling. Probably not to the extent that you do, like in terms of what you're doing at the moment. I do hope that it all goes well for you, Seb. Make sure you trust your instincts. At the end of the day, the reason that you're doing the job is because you're qualified enough to be able to do it. They must trust you. Now, slapped away. Sharks managing to get themselves to steal in the line-out. Now back across, Grant Williams goes to Bongi Umbanambi. And they were looking to get themselves the penalty advantage for not rolling away. Referee says no. But they're going out there, backline now. Ethan Hooker on the outside. Thought about the offload, but great tackle made by Seb Atkinson. Big bump off from James Fenter as well. And this is some nice possession here for the Sharks, something that they haven't had a huge amount of throughout this game. They're already up to about 3 or 4 phases. I think Grant Williams was trying to milk that penalty advantage again, but what has happened is a knock-on from the Sharks. And thanks, Marnus. I'm a Liverpool diehard, but I'm shattered, and yeah, when you put it that way, you better read my rants, says Cool Story Bro. I'm also a Liverpool fan, says David. And also, me, Marnus, since 1974, and Go Sharks Go, says Julia Moses. Now, there is going to be the scrum for Gloucester here. Just seems to be a bit of a momentum shift every once in a while. Like, you get that big play from Gloucester that makes them a whole heap of meters, but the Sharks are hanging in there, and they're also starting to play a bit more of the territory game. I much appreciate it for the encouragement, brother. Well, I hope it was an all right pep talk. I haven't given too many pep talks throughout my time, but yeah, hopefully it did the job. And Sharks need to keep their cool and not get too excited and stick to the game plan, says Brian. And yeah, I don't think they would have expected Gloucester to come out of the gates firing the way that they have. We've also got to remember the Sharks are playing with one less man on the field at the moment. Apalele Fasi was taken from the field from that yellow card, but their scrum has just won another penalty there, the Sharks. And I feel like that is one of those things that if the scrum doesn't work out soon for this front row of Gloucester, that is where this game could be lost. The Sharks need a quick pep talk to win, says Otaku. And also, let's get a few likes on the video and time to scrum again. Let's see, says Lollipop. But yeah, just a dominant scrum. We are seeing time and time again from this Sharks side. And Caitlin's got their little sneezy emoji. Hay fever sucks. In the morning, anyway. Well, that was a pretty quick fire sneeze. It kind of went off to the side, bang, sneezed and came back. I see the Stormers play against the Lions next week. Early kickoff and the Sharks play the Bulls. Two big South African derby matches to look forward to, says Marnus. And we will be covering both of them on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, this is interesting. Masuku is going to be lining up the 3 points. Now, even though the Sharks have not had a huge amount of attack throughout this game, they might have the first opportunity to actually add points on the board. Masuku, he had 100% kicking not too long ago, and he's got that one over a banana kick, the way that one's curved around, and the score now 3-0 for the Sharks, and that will boost their confidence. The fact that they've had pretty much nothing throughout the rest of this game, and now they find themselves in the lead night time this side. Says Caitlin in there as well. And the Champions Cup is only an afternoon game for you guys as well, isn't it? It's actually, this is a late night kickoff, about 9 p.m. kickoff, I think, in South Africa for this contest. Grant Williams, inside of his 22, does kick that ball into touch. And it is now going to be the Sharks to concede the line out. Sharks lead or go into form, says Jimbo. And Sharks will win today and beat the Bulls next week, says Johannes Payne. And that feed was way skew, says Lollipop. And I think the Sharks are going to win. It's just 1 point, says Brandon. Yeah, it seems like both of these sides are going to be very close throughout this final, which is exactly what you want. Do you think Masuku's kicking could make the difference this game? I mean, it certainly did up against Clermont. The fact that that man had 8 from 8 and the Sharks ended up winning from 1 point difference, like, it just shows you sometimes certain games you do need that guy who is going to step up to the tee and every single time get one over. Because if he had missed even one of those, Sharks would have lost. So I think that his kicking, I mean, we've already seen it there. The man's kicking with so much confidence at the moment. Kicked him behind from Gloucester. And Mark taken by Makazole Mapimpi again. Seems like Gloucester's putting a little bit too much juice on those kicks at the moment from Inglefield. And once again, booted into touch. They'll be about 40 metres out. And Seb Blake for Gloucester will have another line-out throw. And we have got their nice weekend off as South. The URC teams, either the Sharks, says Amanus. And here too, Caitlin 10-20 here in Istanbul. But yeah, a pretty late start time for you guys in South Africa. And also Europe, Istanbul as well, which is in Europe. My bad. Now 42 metres out from the line, Gloucester have got possession. Working in the breakdown was Vincent Koch. And I should mention that Apalele Fasi will be returning back out onto the field in a short amount of time. Once this phase is over, or once this, I guess, play is over, he will be back out there. Gloucester looking a little bit stunned on the halfway line. They've lost about 15 metres. And your dedication, says Caitlin. And there as well, skip pass, going in behind. Looking for the 50-22 there, Santiago Carreras, but it will be just outside of that 22-metre line. And Fassi now ready to make his way back out onto the park. Killed to be in Istanbul at the moment. We've got a guy who is in Turkey. Welcome, mate. Says Manas. And there as well. Is that I think they just booed Apalele Fassi when they put him on the big screen of him coming back out onto the field. The crowd are not happy with that man, even though... Hang on, are they checking something here? No, that's all right. I think they were just showing a replay of something else maybe in the crowd weren't happy. Come on, the Sharks. This is a knockout rugby pretty much. Says Gold Story, and looks like Bongi Manambi getting a little bit of medical attention to his knee. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything serious. It looks like he's just having a bit of a chat with one of the medics, and Gurbrand Hruvela goes over to him, whispers something in his ear as well. I think that was a little bit tactical from the Sharks. Looks like Manambi's walking completely fine now, so I wouldn't be concerned about his knee. The referee telling both sides to hurry up. I think both of them are in the huddle, and in fact, it might even be a drinks break, is it? We got a drinks break, or these players... Oh, no, both of them were just huddling. Referee's going, come on, boys. Matthew Raynell losing control of this game. Both sides just doing what they want. It looks like we've got some love in the chat between Ruth and Caitlin. Says Marnus. Maybe. Manambi now. Getting ready to throw this one in. To the front to Eben Etzebeth. Well taken. And now Williams. Going across to James Fenter, who you know will just throw himself at the line when given the opportunity. Now Grant Williams again will be going for a box kick just inside of his own 22. Marcus Olimapimpi chasing after this one. Knocks it back onto the side of the Sharks. There's Bongi. Manambi. Good run from him down the wing. They're onto the halfway line at the moment here for the Sharks. Selling a dummy from Grant Williams trying to snipe his way through, but it's actually the big man Fraser Balmain who was able to shut it down. Now, Marcus Olimapimpi plays half, gives it away to Cock. And it looks like Williams will go back into the pocket to Masuku, who looks to put it high again. Caitlin, my sister, across the ocean. Nicely taken under the high ball there from Santiago Carreras. Well, they're actually just saying Santiago Carreras, due to appendicitis, this is his first game in 6 weeks that he has played. And I feel like playing him in a final, like, that seems risky. The fact that they bring him back for just this one. I love for each other, the game, and the handsome man on the stream. Says Caitlin, you're going to make me blush, Caitlin. I turn red pretty easily. Luckily, I look as white as a vampire at the moment, though, so it's hard to tell because I've got myself lit up from both sides. Now the Sharks in possession here. Rolling it back for Grant Williams again. Hamish, my commentator from New Zealand. Now Williams puts a high Ebenezer-Beth. Chasing after it once again. Well taken by Santiago Carreras. Now with the sniping round from Ackerman. Doesn't make many metres in the process, and it does look like Inglefield will once again roll this one back. We're having a battle with the box kicks at the moment between these two sides. Oxney trying to get the clean out. And Inglefield puts it high. That is a good kick, though, just outside of the 22. It doesn't allow for the mark for the Sharks. Up in Lefasi. Tackled now. And Williams, is he calling someone over to get another box kick going? It looks like for a start they are going to use their forwards with a big Oxney hitting the ball up. And now Williams again will roll this one back. Hamish is charged up for this one. Hamish, you need to become an international commentator. Got some great talent. Says Marnus, do appreciate that. Marnus now onto the halfway line. Carreras, he has got 3 from 3 at the moment. Every high ball he's under, and he's won himself the penalty for this Gloucester side, and Inglefield even considered taking that one quickly to try and keep this game flowing the way that it is. And the Sharks can win tonight because they hold everything for tonight, says Julian Moses. Well, that's the thing. The fact that they don't have anything to play for in the URC, theoretically, gives them the perfect opportunity to have a big game here and get that trophy in the cabinet. One moment, I'm about to sneeze, so I'll quickly mute myself. We are good. But Santiago Carrera sitting 3 from 3 at the moment under that high ball. Like, he's just running onto it very well. And not only that, he's also getting momentum going forward after taking the catch. So making maybe an extra 2 or 3 meters in the process there as well. Trying to finish reading before the sneeze. Yeah. Carreras, he's actually got the kicking tee today as well. He's got everything happening for him in this game for Gloucester, and you can see why they've decided to bring him back in. Like I mentioned about the fact this is his first game in 6 weeks, he's just missed. Ugh, that was a commentator's curse if I have ever seen one. And he's disappointed as well there, the Argentine. And my wife is on the way home now. However, ironically, I'm drinking a bottle of cold Belfast beer. Smashing player Carreras had a great World Cup, says Jimbo. He certainly did. Sitting 0 from 1 off the tee at the moment, and that could have made it 3-3 between these two sides, but Gloucester still heavily favoured in terms of the possession stat. Oxney he's told to release, does ignore the referee, so it is going to be another penalty to Gloucester. That's about the 7th or 8th penalty now up against the Sharks in this game. Any idea how long Carreras has been at Gloucester? I believe just for... was he there last year? Santiago Carreras? Maybe last year, but I think it's only 1 or 2 years that he has been at Gloucester, if I'm correct, which I might be wrong. And born near Durban, living in Vienna, says Brett there. Who lives in Caitlin? Or sorry, who lives in Durban again? Is it Caitlin? It is, yes. I don't think anyone lives in Caitlin, unless Caitlin's a place. But in this case, I don't think it is. Is there a place called Caitlin? Ruth's right, says Caitlin. And there as well, an 85% Sharks, definitely South Africans that don't know very much about the opposition. I mean, they're in the lead at the moment, though, aren't they? And this Gloucester side, to be fair, like one of their recent results was 90-0. And that kick is going to sneak over from Gloucester. You're in the Demons. Right. But 3-3 between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. We have got there, you can't say that F up, mate. No, it was a pretty bad one, wasn't it? I got it around the wrong way. How many New Zealand states can you name? Name them. New Zealand states. We don't have states here. We have provinces, which I think is the best way of describing it, but it's pretty much like areas around the country. I think there's like 12. I could probably name 12, but I can't be bothered, to be honest. But now inside of their 22, Gloucester going to be going for the box kick here. We are certainly a globe-trotting international crowd, says O'Brien. We've got people from all around the world tuning into these streams, which is always absolutely awesome. We've got a live stream today taking place between two Super Rugby sides, and the Blues and the Crusaders. And also, later on tonight, we have got the game between Leinster and Toulouse, which is going to be taking place. 2020, he joined from... Has he been there that long? Santiago Carreras. I actually thought it was more of a recent one, but that is a fair chunk of time at Gloucester for him. Now Bongi Umbanambi getting ready to throw this one in. Currently 24 minutes into this contest as well, and that's going to be overthrown, but luckily claimed by Vincent Koch in the Sharks' favour. Hello, Chad and Hamish. End of the manic day. So glad you're commentating, says Eric. Well, hopefully you do get to de-stress while the rugby is taking place. And James Fenter, driven backwards now. Grant Williams, back across to the right-hand side. Masuku looks to use Francois Fenter. Hasn't really had a huge amount of touches throughout the first 25 minutes of this game. Leinster tonight for you. I will be tomorrow afternoon for me, Hamish, says Brian there. Yeah, because you guys are in the evening at the moment, aren't you? In terms of time zones, up a Lele Fassi. Looks like a bit of a block there from Umbanambi. Not deliberate, I think that was from Matthew Raynell. Now sitting 45 metres out from the line. Grant Williams goes across Masuku to Vincent Koch. Couldn't get his offload on the inside of Vincent Tachuka, but now Pepsi Buthelezi. He's got a big run forward. Sells the dummy. Goes himself Pepsi Buthelezi. And he scores the try for the Sharks. That now gives them the lead in this contest. But a fantastic finish from a fantastic number 8 in Pepsi Buthelezi to now give them the lead in this match. Is Matthew Raynell checking something? Is that what I just heard? But either way, fantastic finish. He had Vincent Tachuka with him as well, just in case. Oh, I think they were checking that little bit of obstruction from Bongion Banambi, but I believe it's going to be all right. And great offload from his back there from Vincent Koch to get it away to Pepsi Buthelezi, who put in 2 fends, sold the dummy, and then just drove his legs all the way to the try line. That's what we want to see, says Dominic, and that was outrageous, says Jimbo there. He must play for the Box. I mean, he's put his name in the hat, that is for sure. Even before this, he had put his name in the hat, but being able to score a try in the fashion that he just did is extremely impressive in this one. Now, Siamasuku to line up this one. I wish you're pronouncing those South African names beautifully. Says Ruth. And Masuku adds the extra 2. Sharks now leading 10 points to 3 over Gloucester in this Challenge Cup final. Well done, the Sharks. This will hopefully get this game moving. And what a try, says Grant. Beats 4 defenders, says Anthony. And the thing is, it's not the first time that he's had a run like that, Pepsi Buthelezi. What time did you get up, Hamish? I got up at about 6:10 a.m. New Zealand time. But the thing that probably wasn't ideal, Upper Lilifasi, handling error, goes backwards though, is ripped to the ground. Yeah, the thing that wasn't ideal was the fact that I went to sleep at about 2 a.m. So I'm running off 4 hours of sleep for today, which is normal for the weekend. But we'll see how we're going later on when we're on to that last live stream, whether or not we do still seem as awake as we do at the moment. But Grant Williams from 5 metres out, his own line. Let's kick it downfield. We've got the Sharks emojis from Caitlin there as well. That is going to be knocked on now from Gloucester. A mistake, Ruta Carreras to the turf, says Jimbo. And go Sharks, says Eric. And there as well. In fact, there might have been a double knock on there between Gloucester and the Sharks. I think it was first off Johnny May, and then it actually went forward off Vincent Cox's head. Now, I'm not 100% sure that Johnny May actually got a finger to that. I think it might have gone straight through the bread basket and went on, ended up hitting his thigh. But it is now going to be the scrum feed for the Sharks. Sharky found his groove again, says Ruth. Yeah, brilliant finish from Pepsi Buthelezi. The only try scorer in this final so far, and to be honest, like if these two sides are extremely close, he could be the only try scorer in this contest. Johnny may actually have handled it, says Ruth. Grant Williams about to put this ball in. 28 and a half minutes in to this Challenge Cup final, ladies and gents. Of course, the Champions Cup is around the corner, and that's going to be another penalty to the Sharks at scrum time. Grant Williams thought about taking it quickly. Sides against it in the end. This time it's Jamal Ford-Robinson who's been penalised for that one. I kind of didn't want to jinx the Sharks by watching, and couldn't be asked going to watch, so here I am, go the Sharks, says Rourke. And there's one. They've already won 3 scrum penalties in this one, the Sharks. Still giving away probably about 8 or so penalties in open play, which I don't think they'll be 100% happy with. But yeah, just flattening out there. One of the commentators saying that he doesn't necessarily agree with that scrum penalty, said that Vincent Koch was also in the wrong for that one. I think it's just that dominance of the Sharks scrum already that we've seen does straight away put Gloucester on the back foot when it comes to set piece. Nicely claimed for the Sharks off the line out now. Grant Williams goes in behind to Ethan Uka. He's dragged down 25 metres out for the line. If they lose, we're coming after you, says Caitlin. But now Vincent Koch round the side of the breakdown. Grant Williams, that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Sharks. Could be a nice easy 3 if they want it. The one thing Johnny May did not handle is that haircut. Yeah, I'm not sure who told him that was a good idea, but I guess each to their own, isn't it? Springbok plays at about 50% when they put the Sharks, or put on the Sharks jersey, says Cool Story Bro. And we might see quite a few Sharks in the Springboks because, like I mentioned a little bit ago, depending on which sides make it far in the URC will determine what type of squad the Springboks can actually select for their games up against Wales. And I think to a certain extent, those games up against Ireland won't be affected, but depending on injuries of the URC, that will determine a little bit of who will actually be making their way that a little bit further. And Sharks scrum murder Clermont, and what to do the same tonight, says Jimbo. Now Masuku lining up another 3 points here. This will give the Sharks a handy enough lead with 10 minutes remaining in the half. And Masuku adds the extra 3. 13 points to 3 now in favour of the Sharks. I feel like ever since Connor mentioned about the 80% back in the Sharks, that is when the Sharks have been at their most dangerous and they've just fired up. Since then, I just checked out the Kiwi Lad Sport channel, seen you've done a Premier League live commentary of Man United and Liverpool 2 years ago. Will you do a Prem live commentary again once, please? Probably not. Only because if I was to do it, I want to be able to commit to doing multiple games rather than just one every once in a blue moon, which at the moment with the schedule just doesn't look like we're going to be able to add Premier League onto what is already a pretty hectic time of the year. So sadly, probably won't get any Premiership in. It's going to be kicked high from Grant Williams inside of his 22 once again, and Gloucester knocking the ball on again. Vincent Koch puts the grubber, and this is going to be a 50-22 from Vincent Koch, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing with a lot of confidence, the Sharks. When you got your tight head prop getting a 50-22 for you, you know you're in good form. Johnny Mayer's looking to join the RAF Fire Brigade when he retires, and he is going to sessions with them, I should say, from Fleshin. In fairness, their haircut really makes him a Johnny. They're known for mental choices, Johnnies. And that's also what you can do tomorrow. The FAC says, I'm honest, I can't, because we got a few other streams still on for the weekend. 22 metres out from their own line now. Gloucester will have the possession, and it does look like they're just going to go for that box kick of Englefield, which currently, it started off well for Gloucester, but I don't think they're winning that kicking battle anymore. That one's gone into touch. And now, it actually got touched by the looks of it. Englefield disappointed, but it's because it touched the players, so they've got their own line out. I think he's just angry. I don't want to blame the colour of his hair, but I could. Yeah, just the hand of Evan Etzebeth getting onto that one. Sharks having the upper hand this first half. And yeah, I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Winter hasn't taken off yet. Says goal story, bro. Now, it's going to be thrown and slapped away, though, by Gubran Hrubala. Mentioned that man before the game in terms of the way that he's able to get turnovers and the line out. I think Gloucester were calling for a full pass. Maybe they should worry about making some tackles, because at the moment the Sharks are bulldozing towards them again. Upper Lele Fassi, clean out from the side of the ruck. Could have been penalised. But referee says play on now. Pepsi Buthelezi trying to break his way through a tackle of his opposite number, Zach Mercer. What's wrong with the scores? Says Otaku. And there as well. And currently 13 points to 3 in favour of the Sharks. Grant Williams going to be rolling this one back. And going for the box kick once again. Makazole Mapimpi chasing after it. And Carreras goes up for it. And I believe he's fallen the right way to get that ball for Gloucester. Mapimpi's still hanging on to that one on the ground. It's going to become a maul. And it's going to become Gloucester's ball. Hamish always blames the ginger, says Grant. And also angry ginger, says Jimbo. So, you can do tomorrow the FA Cup final between Man City and Man United. It's a 16 CAT. I have no idea what CAT is. I assume that's like Central American time. I'm ginger and I blame myself. Says cool story, bro. Now, another scrum. Had quite a few of those throughout this first half of the Challenge Cup final, but I should mention, like I said earlier on, the next one that has taken place, it is going to be, first of all, the Blues versus Crusaders in Super Rugby. That is a 9 a.m.-ish start for you guys in South Africa in the Northern Hemisphere. It is a 7:05 p.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand, and then there is the Champions Cup final taking place between Leinster and Toulouse. Oh, another penalty for the Sharks at scrum time, and now Matthew Raynell will go over Central African time, like South African time. Says Amanis there. I'm watching my cat play football with a mouse outside, which is ironic as his name is Messi. There you go. Right, 4 penalties in a row against Gloucester at scrum time. That is something that's going to hurt them badly in the second half if they continue having scrums against them. I think Lewis Ludlam just going back to have a chat to Jamal Ford-Robinson. But he's just getting dominated at the moment at scrum time. It has brought me some luck now and there. Says, cool story, bro. And Gloucester getting eaten alive in the scrum, says Anthony. Yeah, it hasn't been an easy time for them at the moment. Unless something drastic changes soon, it's probably going to cost them either a yellow card or a try later on in this game. But Masuku again will line up the 3 points. They're in the position here, Al. The Sharks, they can wear down the clock a little bit. This will give them a 13-point lead if this one goes over from Masuku. He's 34 metres out and he is sitting 3 from 3 so far throughout this final. And now, that one's straight down the middle again. And that is going to make the score now 16 points to 3 in favour of the Sharks. I know it's early yet. Sharks are looking good. Incoming sneeze. How could you tell? I think it was the eyes slowly closing, wasn't it? I think we're all right. Maybe. What's the crowd like? It's decent. Like they've got, I wouldn't know of the numbers, seeing as I don't really know the capacity of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in general. Oh, that's an ugly clean out. And it's going to be the penalty to the Sharks. Gloucester, someone pushed the Sharks number 12, which is in this one, Francois Fenta, actually pushed him into Apalele Fassi. This is probably going to be a yellow card now for Gloucester. I've never understood why the refs read on the front row. Oh. Okay, so we're going to see it here. Fenta's in the way. You know what? I don't think that's actually a penalty. I think that Francois Fenta has blocked the jump of the Gloucester player, which has then caused his own player to take the fall out. Oh, okay, so they're going to check this one, and it may end up just being a knock-on against the Sharks. Because they do have to check whether or not Francois Fenta is the reason that Gloucester hasn't been able to make his way through. But yeah, he's been blocked, which has actually caused the initial contact. So I think it's a really unfortunate accident, but Fenta was blocking. It's going to be a knock-on against the Sharks here. Francois Fenta, he thought that he would be smart trying to win that penalty for his side, but all he's done is hurt Apalele Fassi and also given away the knock-on. Eben Etzebeth will not be happy with this one. Okay. Oh, one of the commentators has said, so it wasn't a foul play, or wasn't a penalty to the Sharks, but it now will be at the scrum. Having trouble with the internet in the US. Missed last night's game. All you need to know is having a trophy inside Tottenham Stadium is very unprecedented. Yeah, the Spurs, they haven't had the best run at times, have they? They've been good at certain stages, and then they just don't seem to be able to get the job done. No, the player is allowed to be there, says Lollipop. He is, but he's also not allowed to shield in that regard, because it was actually because of him standing in the way, he blocked the jump of the Gloucester player, so it's actually obstruction in that regard. Or it's like accidental obstruction, but pretty much it's not a penalty against either side. It's just a really unfortunate situation that led to Apalele Fassi going down. But pretty much because he was in the way of the Gloucester player trying to jump for the ball, that has inadvertently caused the Gloucester player to take out Apalele Fassi in the air. And Spurs haven't been good since the late 60s, says Jimbo. And Fro Reeve never fails to get it wrong, says Grant. Now, ball is about to be fed in. But yeah, it probably could have still stayed as a penalty at worst, but I don't think it was going to be anything more than that one. And that's actually one of the first scrums that we've actually seen Gloucester manage to get that ball out of a scrum. And now Inglefield. Big shot coming in from Bongi Umbanambi, Sharks player in the back without the ball. Even made that point. Says a Lollipop. It's an awkward one, isn't it? Because you can see it from both sides in terms of like being blocked from jumping up for that one, because he was theoretically, without that Sharks player there, he would have been able to contest for that ball and both men would have gone up in a safe manner. But because of the man being in the way, you still have the certain responsibility, though, to put the player down safely. But if you have been contacted before that, oh, yeah, Grant Williams running through. It looks like it's going to be a knock-on from Grant Williams there. And it's going to be the scrum feed now for Gloucester yet again. Rush defence causing chaos, says Anthony. Currently 13 minutes. There is no obligation on the Sharks to allow free running channels to the ball, allow them to challenge for the ball. Depends on the referee, really, because in some of the times you get called for obstruction for being in front. Depending on, I guess, isn't it where you were positioned off the kick? If you were positioned in front, then you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble. But once again, it's just literally down to referee interpretation, and who you go for probably determines what you thought of that in particular challenge. And can Gloucester come up with a cunning plan in the second half? Says Brian, time at the moment is 38 minutes through. Now, the scoreboard has got a bit crazy and keeps on going. It depends on how you got there. We have got their penalty. Play ahead to the knocker on. Says Lollipop, I can tell already that no matter what I say, you're going to argue with it, so there's not really any point. But that's going to be the penalty to the Sharks. That one is their penalty, so I'm sure that will make you very happy. But Vincent Tuchuka locking over the ball. And Gloucester just ending up slightly isolating themselves. They didn't really have a clean out ready for it. And it only took half a second for Vincent Tuchuka to be able to get over that ball and get the turnover. And Ackerman got there eventually, but it wasn't going to be enough to stop Vincent Tuchuka. Penalties conceded. 6 against the Sharks. 6 against Gloucester. 7 against the Sharks. 30 seconds remaining in this half. Nicely thrown into Bongi Umbanambi. Now starting to roll forward here for the Sharks. We haven't actually seen a huge amount of maul meters being made by either of these sides, although now it looks like the Sharks are trying to change that stat. Why is the stadium so empty behind you? Says Atanet. Pretty much because I took the picture after hours. Snuck into the stadium, so I had to get it when no one was there. Kiwi Lads community, fire burning here, good stuff. Says, good story, bro. That one is going to be kicked into touch now. And that is going to be the end of this first half. 16 points to 3 is the way that it currently sits in this Challenge Cup final. It's been played at a frantic pace between these two sides. And in fact, I think it was a pretty free-flowing half. We've only had a 48-minute half there, and we did have some TMO decisions. Gloucester won't be too happy with this first half. We have got there, I've been listening to rugby commentary for nearly 70 years, and as you can imagine, I've listened to some great commentators. It's evident that you too will become one of the greats one day from Durban, says Gerhardus. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. 70 years is a long time for commentary, and people always say, like, in terms of, it used to be that radio style commentary, didn't it, when it was, like, I want to say even like the 90s, early 2000s was when it used to be most rugby was done with the radio commentary. And then it kind of disappeared. But now the cool thing is we've got radio commentary, but we've also got like chat as well. So you guys are able to put your messages through and we are able to read them as we kind of go, which I think is just an awesome concept to be able to have. Irish sarcasm, says Grant there. And also, Irish, the clock is not right. I know. Yeah. It's not. We have got their first half, or good first half for the Sharks, says Brian. It was good. Like, I feel like the Sharks will be more happy with where they are, obviously, in this first half, because we've got to remember they had given away so many penalties in the early stages of the half, and even though they were giving away all of those penalties, they still didn't really concede too many points. Like, Gloucester have got 3 points throughout this game. They've missed a kick and Santiago Carreras, but early on they turned down 3s to go for 7s. Now maybe they knew what was to come with the fact that the Sharks would be able to get themselves quite a few points throughout this game, but overall, yeah, they'll be much more happy going into the second half compared to Gloucester. And this game, we're looking through at the benches So Keno is there at 16 with Mako Vivas at 17. Gutov Sif is there at 18. Albert Tuisui is there at 19. Clement, Stephen Varney, Llewellyn, I should say, and Hathaway, the last man off that Gloucester bench for the Sharks. They've got Fezembata, Matunu, and Jacobs, Labaskachne, Richardson, Wright, Bosch, and Keita there as the 23. Also to mention, the next game for the Sharks, it's going to be next week, and they are going head-to-head with the Bulls. That is a 2:05 a.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand, which will be an afternoon kickoff for you guys in South Africa, sitting at about a 4 p.m. kickoff for you guys. It's a South African derby. We will be covering it on the channel as well, ladies and gents. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But looking through at some of the stats for this first half, 3 penalties have been taken by the Sharks, so that gave them the 9 points, and also that brilliant try from Pepsi Buthelezi, where he was able to break through the line, manages to score that try, and helps the Sharks extend their lead there a little bit more. Meters made, 108 made by the Sharks compared to the 77 meters made by Gloucester. Gloucester have beaten more, or in fact they've had more clean breaks, 2-1, whereas Sharks have defeated more defenders in 13-10. Just looking through at some possession and territory stats, both actually in favour of Gloucester. 76% possession for this Gloucester side, and then 61% for territory. Tackle success of the Sharks are sitting at 88%. They've made 71 tackles throughout that first 40 minutes, and to be honest, that is somewhere that I think has really saved the Sharks. When you look at Gloucester's tackle completion at 79%, they have made 50 tackles, but the fact that the Sharks have made 88% of their tackles, including so many inside of their own 22, in those times where Gloucester were right on the verge of being able to break through and score a try. We also should mention that the Sharks went down to 14 men at one stage throughout that first half, with Apalele Fassi being the man who did it go to the bin. So it's one of those ones. They'll certainly be happy with what they've been able to do and how they've come back into this game, the Sharks, after the early 4 or 5 penalties in a row. And alongside that, they also did have that yellow card. Like I mentioned, Sharks vs Bull games will be free on Air TV here in Ireland, so I will be watching it. Says Richard, and Sharks defence hasn't really been bashed hard though. Says Jimbo, although credit where credit is due, it's still 88% of the tackles, and maybe that is something that Gloucester will look at in this halftime break. They'll say, right, how do we try and put that pressure on the Sharks? And I think something that's been very impressive for the Sharks has been the way that they've joined the breakdown after making that first contact and making that first tackle. We saw a perfect example with Vincent Tuchuka when he locked himself over the ball, won the penalty for the Sharks. We've got there the Sharks from Caitlin, and there with a very happy, hearty face next door to it. And also we have got there Gloucester need to change their underwear half-time. It's too tight, says Roof. And also Sharks defence. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And you need to explain the correct reply to that alert to Roof. And the universe appreciates it, says Sebastian in there as well. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to be walking away with a victory in this contest? Because to be honest, either of these sides, I know that it's bold to say, but either of these sides can still win this contest. If Gloucester score themselves an early try, that gets them within 7 if they are able to convert. We saw it in the Hurricanes versus Chiefs game. Hurricanes had a 14-point lead going into halftime, and then straight away the Chiefs were able to answer back with a try in that second half. So there is definitely a situation here that could see Gloucester getting back into this game. It's just whether or not they can find a way of how to break down the Sharks side, who currently, other than that ill discipline early on and a couple of penalties along the way, they haven't looked too troubled throughout this game. Bite your tongue, says Caitlin. You've changed your name, Caitlin. You've lost the Rorty off the end, haven't you? You're just McG now. McG sounds very gangster. Maybe the G does stand for gangster. I'd love to see Gloucester win this, though, says Anthony. And Sharks have the experience to get over the line, says Anthony. And John Plumtree must give them good team talk and keep forward domination, says Brian. And yeah, Sharks scrum at the moment is where this game is heavily being separated. Like, Gloucester have done some good things around the field, but the Sharks at scrum time have just turned it up to the next level. And I don't think we'll be too far away from seeing a scrum turn into a yellow card in terms of this forward pack. Like Jamal Ford Robinson and Balmain Too many stalkers. Seeming gangster helps. True. What do you mean stalkers? If people like found you on other social medias from your full name, Caitlin. Fun fact, we actually had, it was a girl a while ago who was in the chat. And she like pretty much just said, hi, how's it going? And then she had about 4 blokes in her Instagram DMs. Like within like 20 minutes. It was on a cricket live stream. And those blokes, they were thirsty, as the saying goes. I like Matthew Reynell as a referee because he doesn't give a and he calls it as he sees it. Of course, there are marginal calls that I've not agreed with, but that's the game. So there's Lollipop there, and yeah, like you said, there's always going to be certain calls that, like, depending on interpretation and depending on who is in charge of the games, will be refereed differently. Like that one that we saw, like some referees would still give that as a penalty. Some referees would say play on, like we saw in this case. But yeah, at the end of the day, it hasn't affected the game too much, which is great news. You never want to see one of those ones be the difference between a win and a loss. We have there Caitlin, stalkers everywhere creepy, and Ruth, you're allowed to stalk away with the tongue out. There you go, eh? Bite your tongue as the best sushi. Does it? I believe, or do I tell you guys this? I don't have a lot of sushi. Like, I think the last time that I had sushi was when we had to make it at primary school. For some reason, they were like one random day, school of about 100 kids, maybe 150, and they were like, we're making sushi. And they said, you have to eat it. But I didn't want to eat the seaweed because I was like, it's seaweed. I don't know what that is. Other than, I guess it's seaweed. But pretty much they've said everyone has to eat a piece of sushi or else you're not leaving. So I did a great, I'll pick my piece. They weren't looking and I went, Never ate that piece of sushi. So I don't think I've actually ever eaten sushi now that I think about it. The only time that I almost did, I faked them out and I didn't actually eat it because I didn't want to eat the seaweed. You too, says Caitlin. Well, I think you follow us on the Kiwi Lads Instagram, I think, Caitlin, maybe. I don't know whether I should have said that now. That's probably made it easier for people to do the stalking. There's no such thing as a good French ref. Oh, never. Says Dakota, yeah, I don't think I've ever had sushi. We have good there, Hamish. Update on new girlfriend. Says Robert, no, George is a cheeky boy. He was stirring the pot overall, Robert. And not much sushi here. We tend to eat hot food. Too bloody cold, says Jimbo. And thanks, Caitlin, Hamish. Says Ruth. And as I know, thank you. Chocolate is as bad as mango. Take that back, Grant. Second half, not too far away though, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I do follow, it's still no post. Yeah, we need to work on that. We got no posts on the Instagram. The problem is I've waited too long, right? So the first post has to be great. Phenomenal, one of the best pictures on Instagram. But I don't know what to post because it's been like 3 years and we still haven't taken a photo. Like there was one that I was going to do, which was pretty much me standing by a random, it was like in Wanaka and it was like a good tree. Like a good tree sounds weird to say, but like it was a tree that's like a landmark tree. And then George took a photo of me, but he only took a picture of my shins. And I was going to post that. But then I was like, people might not get that picture. So I didn't know and I didn't do it. You promised us months ago. I did, yeah. One day, we'll have one. Why can't you find any painkillers in the jungle? Parrots eat them all. I see it. Parrots eat them all. Yep, good one. Good one, Jimbo. I probably read that too Kiwiified. Probably made it sound weird. That joke's older than you, Brian, says Jimbo. One moment, I'm about to sneeze. And then we are close to the second half, getting back underway. We are good. You're super weird. My motto, no chocolate, no sex. That's a fun motto, isn't it? If you make autopsy, or if you make autopsy an elephant, you would find a lot of painkillers, says Dakota. That's not true. We complain about refs even when we win, says Grant. And there as well. But second half, not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Just quickly showing the benches again in terms of who will be able to make the impact for the Sharks. Mbata, Machuno, and Janro Jacobs will want to continue the momentum we've already seen built up by the Sharks side. Labuschagne and Dylan Richardson as the other two forward replacements, with Wright, Bosch and Keita as the back replacements. I don't think Curlin Bosch is going to get a huge amount of game time here, mainly because of the way that Masuku has once again stepped up off the kicking tee and is currently sitting 4 from 4 in this contest for Gloucester. A little bit of Argentine flair off the bench alongside Llewellyn and also Stephen Varney, with Fijian Albert Tuisui there as the number 19. We have got there Viva Vivas. Says Dakota, why are New Zealanders so civilised compared to Australians? It's a hard one to answer, really. Australians, like most Australians, are kind of alright overall. Like sometimes they get a little bit aggressive. Australians, but that's the same with New Zealanders. It just depends on who you got. Like Australians, if you don't mind their accent, they're all right people. You know. Hi, Caitlin. Says Henrik Hosking. And there's, that's grandfather joke, Sebastian. And also, hello, what did I do now? Says Eric Quistime, who invented the 3-4-1 scrum formation. No idea, to be honest. I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is the scrum at the moment is going extremely well for the Sharks side, and they haven't really looked like conceding any sort of penalty. Their chools are the same as South African private schools. And also, Gareth, apparently I sound like you now, says Ruth. Wouldn't that be like the biggest plot twist ever? Like, that would be better than any movie plot twist we've ever seen if Ruth was actually Gareth. Can you imagine it? Just thanks for this channel and your commentary. Lots of us don't get live coverage, so much appreciated, says David. No worries at all, and we are going to be back for the Champions Cup final as well between Leinster and Toulouse. Alongside that, we are also going to be doing the game between the Blues and Crusaders, and we've got the URC next week with the two South African derbies covered on the channel as well. We're doing the internationals for the Springboks. So yeah, if you guys are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Second half not too far away from getting underway. 16 points to 3 at the moment. Do you use chocolate for sex games? Not personally, no, but you got to have the second part. I mean, I have some chocolate, but that's about all I get out of that sentence, sadly. We have got their bad language, says a Robert, and who's going to win? I think that the Sharks are in the perfect position to be able to go on and get themselves the victory here. Hint, he's in the IRB Hall of Fame. Oh, nah, that's still not good for me, unfortunately. That one from Dakota's really thrown me off. It's got me for the curveball, but second half just about to start, ladies and gents. Do let me know your in-score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. So far, we've only seen the one try scorer, that being Pepsi Buthelezi. It's a perfectly acceptable question, brother, says Sebastian. And do you follow Aussie rules football? Not really. Unfortunately, like, I'll keep an eye on every once in a while, see the scores and whatnot. But Gloucester just about to kick off for the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Kicked up high and well taken by Apalelefasi inside of their own 22. Here the Sharks, and straight away Gloucester putting on pressure, but they've given away a penalty in the process. 25-18 for the Sharks. It's a prediction there, and kia ora, Hamish. And an early morning start here in Brisbane, playing in badminton tournament today. Hope you're doing well. And g'day to all the viewers. Auckland for life, says James Martin. Good luck in your badminton. Hopefully it goes well. I'm a little bit partial to a bit of badminton myself. Yeah. I used to play it a bit better. Do you know Fozzie rules? There's so many things we could say about that, but we won't. How many Southern Hemisphere players are playing the Six Nations team, says Francois. There's a few scattered throughout those sides, of course. Nicely taken by Gerbra Rubela. And this rolling maul making a lot of metres here for the Sharks. They're up to the halfway line currently. And it looked like that was actually a Sharks player collapsing. That breakdown, the ball not coming out, and Gloucester get themselves the scrum. Lots of penalties, says Peter Mason. There as well, Matthew Raynell has given the penalty, 16-15 for the Sharks. Oh, so you're thinking a bit of a comeback here from Gloucester. Hopefully It is a close game. I did say that this game would be split by less than 10. So I do need Gloucester to at least score one try just to make my prediction a little bit closer. Sharks are going to win the South African way with 1 point, so 25-24, says your Starlight. And that's the thing. The kicking of Masuku might be the difference maker in this game, mainly because, his game up against Clermont, where he got 8 from 8, they won by 1 point. That was the difference. The fact that he was able to get those kicks over in the important times. Gareth, it's better than getting compared to Austin Powers. Shagadelic, says Ruth. Poor Ruth getting compared to me, says Gareth. And come on, the Sharks, says Bystander. But now scrum time. This time it's going to be Gloucester, who have got the ball to feed in. Has come out the back, nicely done by the side who have been under immense pressure. And they've got themselves the penalty advantage, which is definitely something that fires the crowd up, seeing as all day it's been the Sharks who have got themselves a scrum penalty, kicked them behind. It's almost a 50-22 there. They will go right back, Badminton. It's what you get when you're older, when you order tennis off Temu. Badminton's alright. Badminton's one of those weird ones that I would never watch someone play badminton, but I'd play it myself. I don't know. There's another Irish qualified Kiwi going to Ulster next year, or next season from the Canes. Ooh. Which one, Fleshin? Do you know the name of the fella? Today the chat is better than the game, says right. That can sometimes happen. Normally the chat does kick off for finals. A lot of people saying random things. I still think that the highlight, or the best comment, was from Dakota asking about the chocolate and whatnot, but yeah, there's been a lot of fun in the chat, and it is all down to you guys, so I do appreciate you all being here. Champions Cup final is going to be taking place in less than 24 hours' time, so if you're keen on joining us again for that one, or for the game between the Crusaders and the Blues, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But now it's going to be the line out here for Gloucester. They need something big soon, and it actually looks like they've made the change. They've got Santiago Soquino. Oh, my apologies. That first scrum was actually the replacement front row from Gloucester. So it wasn't just magically that they got better. It was because they made 3 changes and they switched it. Badminton, the only activity in which it is acceptable to hit a cock, says Sebastian. That's going to be stolen by Grant Williams. Great fend there from the elusive 9. Gets it off to James Fenter, who's been dragged down. Werner Koch gets rid of Chris Harris. Now they've got numbers here for the Sharks. Passed out wide to Apalele Fassi. Goes himself. And doesn't give it to Makazole Mapimpi, who now has gone for the pick and go around the side of the breakdown. The Sharks on hot attack here. Vincent Koch taken down low by, I believe it was Lewis Ludlam. Now they've got the advantage here, the Sharks. Good leg strength being shown by Oxnishe. And Ibud says, Regime, welcome to the stream, mate. Now the Sharks with Pepsi Buthelezi. He's still the lone try scorer in this contest. Aidan Morgan. Strange he has a Welsh name. Oh, so he's going to Ulster. I didn't actually know that. Fleshin, that's good work in the breakdown from Soquino, but he's now been told to not go for it. Masuku looking off to the side. Apalele Fassi puts the kick in behind for Werner Koch. It's kicked out. And they'll go back for the penalty again. Hamish once said, I'm the most well-behaved person on the Kiwi lads. Did I? Must have been drunk. Not just any cock with feathers on it. An awesome break from the Sharks, says Jimbo. 45 minutes through. Second name's Morgan, do wander around. But this first Aiden is Irish, says Dakota. Looks like Grant Williams might have a bit of an injury here. It looks like his grimacing might have been his knee or something in that leg, but they've kicked towards the corner here, the Sharks. Rather than going for the 3 points, they have decided they want the full 7. It's not too difficult to achieve, says Caitlin in there as well. Yeah, of course, a lot of you fellows and I was going to say ladies, but what's the female equivalent of fellows? Like ladies and gentlemen, you've got like lads and ladesses. What is the female equivalent of fellows? I don't even know. I've confused myself, but the Sharks, 10 minutes less. Oh, so it is less as well. Oh, leg chopper on Vincent Dujuka. Around the side, Oxnishe gets within the 5 minutes. Sorry, the 5 metres. Last says Dolly. Gals. Yeah, I guess Gals could work too, couldn't it? Fellatio, maybe. Ladies can be fellows too, says a Jimbo. And Lass or Gals, says Richard. The ball's still there for the Sharks. Umbanumbi, Gals. So yeah, you fellows and gals in the chat are always pretty well behaved, aren't you? With the exception of a few, but noblists. That's going to be now the scrum feed. Ladess is not a word. Well, it is here, Grant. We have a different vocabulary on the Kiwi lads. Crowd are not happy about that one going the way of Gloucester. But it's about the third time that it's happened that it's been called as a maul, and then Gloucester just managed to kill that ball so that it doesn't come out the back door. And how old are you, if I may ask? First question, Dakota, how old do you think I am? This is either going to hurt my ego or stroke it a little tiny bit, but probably not a lot of stroking. It's not a good word. Like, stroking just sounds sexual from the get-go, doesn't it? Sheila or bird or princess or cow, says Robert. Good defence by Gloucester, says Anthony, but we've got a bit of a stoppage here. Ebenetzebeth trying to get the 4-pack fired up. They need to get to that next level where the Sharks, because if they can put a little bit of play together here and get themselves an extra try, they will be in a great position to go on and win this final. The first time ever that a South African side would have been able to lift that Challenge Cup final as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they end up going. Hello? What do you want to hear? I don't want to hurt you. Which direction shall I go? Just have a guess somewhere in the 20s. I could pull off 30 or 18. To be fair, you're not wrong. Like, if I shave, I do look like I'm just out of high school. If I don't shave and I don't get much sleep, I look like I could be pushing 32. Would you watch the challenge? Would you watch the challenge? The Challenge Cup. I assume that is from 123MS. Another scrum reset here. They look great for a 35-year-old. You look 40, Hamish. Nah, he ain't 30. Well, 2 with 24. Says Dakota. 28. So, yeah, it's just all over the place, isn't it, in terms of the age range? But I'm 24. So the ones who said 24, you were nothing, but you were closest. 25, almost, in December. We will be, but now scrum reset again here for Gloucester. About to feed this ball in. And they aren't too far out from their own line here, about 10 metres. So more than likely they will have to get this ball in, get it out straight away. Oh, another penalty. Goes the way of the Sharks with Grant Williams trying to get that ball straight away to take the quick tap. This is in a position where Masuku can take another 3 here. And it's just easy points. 5 penalties now. Well, so I was right. Nice. What is the prize? Nothing. Sadly. I don't really have many prizes. You can have a tennis ball, but you have to pay for shipping. Are you older than George? Nah, George is older than me by about 9 months. Some chocolate, says Dakota. No chocolate, even though we do have some here. Tell you what, I think he's been a bit unlucky, the Gloucester front row. They've just mentioned about the fact that he couldn't really do much in that scenario. They're saying he didn't pull him down or anything along those lines. Masuku now does get that kick over, and that is going to make the score now 19 points to 3. This one now separated by 16, and it's going to take a monumental comeback from Gloucester to get them back in. And here's the tennis ball. You can't see on screen. Yeah, I forgot that it was green, to be honest. It kind of just blended in, didn't it? So were you born in the old millennium or the new? I am a 90s child, fun fact. I was back in the day before we reached the 2000s. What I would give to be your age, my current knowledge, says Clinton there. We talk about it quite a bit, how people who are older wish to be younger and people who are younger wish to be older. So you can't really win, can you? Wait, George is older than you by 9 months. That's a strange way for your parents to celebrate his birth, isn't it? Says Sebastian. Yeah, I should clarify, George, not my brother. By blood, anyway. Has Katie been around? Not for these live streams. She'll probably be here for the Champions Cup stream later on tonight. Gloucester kicking that one downfield. Upper fussy again. Looking to step nicely with the spin as well, like he's in the NFL. Like Lewis Rees-Zammit, who of course was the ex-Gloucester man. Oxneshire. Let's hit it up again, and Williams will look for the box kick. Ready to put this one up high. And does get plenty of height on it from Williams. Makazole Mapimpi chasing. Ooh, it's an ugly one in the air. I think Carreras has knocked the wind out of himself, and he's also... The penalty has gone against the Sharks. Against Gloucester. Makazole Mapimpi getting a lot of praise there from Upalele Fassi. There's one simple rules. Young guys want to look older. Old guys younger. Question is, at what age does that role switch? Yeah, it's a hard contact between those two men. Both going up for the ball, both having hands on the ball, and Carreras just falling awkwardly, almost on his side, which would not have felt nice. 28-30. It's the score prediction there from 123 MS. Is that for the Sharks, 123, in terms of who wins that game, or is it the other way? I can't imagine the Nutella stuck in my chest here. What messages have I missed? Nutella in the chest here? Hamish covered in Nutella, says Since when did that happen? You are a spring chicken, Hamish, says Regine. And this ref has taken a dislike to Gloucester, says Glesham. When you hit 45 years, says Francois. And the Sharks are nearly there, says Julian. 28 old to 30 old. Okay, no, I understand now. I was confused. Take the points again, says I Lollipop. Well, that's the thing. Like, they're available for them if they want them here, the Sharks, and it does look like they do indeed want another 3 points. It was the answer to at which age you want to look younger. Chocolate cheesecake boss. I feel like being covered in Nutella, though, just sounds like a mission, doesn't it? Like, it's all well and good at the time, but then afterwards you are just now covered in chocolate spread. So, you know, you're gonna need some cleaning. I said 24, still a baby. Says Ansi there, but Masuku going to be lining up this kick, and he has been nailing everything so far. And he's got it again, Masuku. That is going to make the score now 22-3. Gloucester getting taken out of this game at the moment. Being in Nutella, Nutella is yummy, says Barry Green. Yeah, but how much is too much for the Nutella department? I feel like that could be asked about sandwiches as well. Or, do people... Yeah, everyone calls it a sandwich, don't they, with Nutella? Or what else do you do with Nutella other than sandwiches? Like, some people just get a spoon and go ham on the jar, don't they? No cleaning needed, Hamish. Just a couple of slices of bread. We have good there. How's the turnout for the final in London? It actually looks like a decent turnout, which is great to see. Like, it's not completely sold out. Another knock on from Santiago Carreras. Do you think Masuku is Springbok material? I think he's got a very good chance, definitely with the fact that they won't be able to select certain players depending on who have made their way through to the URC. Great run forward from Upalele Fassi. Now Williams looking for that next gap. The Sharks, they've only scored the one try so far, but they're looking for another one here. Makazole Mapimpi. He was never going to pass. He should have, because James Fenter would have run at him for an easy try. Selfishness from the Springbok winger. But he's knocked it on, Evan Etzebeth. Although the referee says no, he hasn't. Now, Vincent Tichuka, what the Sharks need to do here is have about 3 phases, because if they have 3, then the TMO cannot rule it back. They've scored the try there up a little Fassi, but they will have to check that one of Eben Etzebeth there. Amasuku is going to be the next Springbok, says Brandon. But great bit of work there from the Sharks. I think Etzebeth did knock that ball on in the breakdown, though. And Sharks on fire, says Julian Moses. And come on, babies, Sharks, give us a win, please. Feel like if you're going to put Nutella somewhere on your body, the clue is in the name. They're just showing here, Etzebeth with the offload on the outside of Makazole Mapimpi. That should have been an easy try for Fenta, but Makazole Mapimpi, you can see the frustration on Fenta's face as well. He was going, what do you mean you're not going to pass it out wide for an easy run-in try? And calm down Sharkies' view, says Dave and the Sharks at their best, says Barry Green. Right, I think Matthew Reynell, I've just heard him say check or not. I think that's for the knock-on from Eben Etzebeth in the breakdown. Are they going to go upstairs to have a look at it? No, they're not. Okay, it must have been cleared as backwards from Eben Etzebeth there. The crowd were not happy at the time with it. We'll be covering the Summer Rugby Internationals when they are on the 22nd of June. We certainly will be. As many internationals as we can cover, we are going to be covering them all. Are you here for tomorrow's final 2, Kiwi? We are indeed. And that one is, of course, between Leinster and Toulouse. Eben is a beast, or is the beast, says Barry. And how well is that soccer pitch holding up to this tough game? It's actually doing extremely well. I don't think I've seen any signs of it getting ripped up or anything along those lines. Oh, maybe a couple little ones. These officials, says Eben. Well, sorry, says Fleshin. What do you think of Tyrone Green replacing injured Damien Valimza for the Irish series coming up? Oh, tell you what, that's a name that I haven't heard thrown around too much for the Springboks. Could be an option. I know that people have also said maybe Warwick Gallant, but you know, it's a tricky one. I think that Villy LaRue will be there, but then it's the question of who will be alongside him. That's going to be a Gloucester penalty, but they are now down by 29 points to 3 currently. They aren't in the best position in this game, that is for sure. And 3 Sharks scored past 9 Gloucester defenders. Says Jimbo, Kaputintella on the back of your pants and ran out of the classroom crying. I mean, you could, but what would be the goal? To get out of class? Like, surely there are better ways of doing it than being like, right, I just have to sneak this Nutella into the classroom. Tyrone Green gets his English residency in 2025, fun fact. And I wonder who ain't afraid of the Sharks. Now, big drive forward here for Gloucester. Their first try has been scored, and it's Albert Tuisui, who only recently made his way onto the park, has got themselves their first try now. Now, coming back from that, Rus has been the understudy for Eben, says 123 MS. And that try was too easy, says Anthony. And that's right, hiding for Gloucester, delighted. It's not a wasted season for the Sharks. This will be at 42 points to 6 maybe. Says Brian, I'm off to bed. I have a 20k run tomorrow. Jeez, that is a big run, that is for sure. And Sharks on fire, says Dominique. But yeah, Albert Tuisui, just making it look easy to go over there for Gloucester. And I don't know what happened compared to what happened earlier on in this game. But, you know, it's a step in the right direction. Like they've said, I'm off to sleep. But reading for the Sharks in my dreams. Thanks for the awesome chats again. You're rock Hamish. Says Caitlin, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we do get to see you tomorrow for the Champions Cup final, perhaps. Of course, it is quite a late night for you guys in South Africa for this game and the conclusion of it, but that other one a little bit earlier on in the afternoon. And good luck, Regine, says 123 MS, and who are you running from? Says Gareth. And Gloucester just ruined my updated prediction. I have a 5k. And also time to swap out the Sharks forwards, says Jimbo, but it is going to be kicked off once again now. Nicely claimed by, I think that would have been Clark, Freddie Clark, in fact, rather than Arthur. That try scorer for Gloucester has a glorious beard. He certainly does. Albert Tuisui, the Fijian international. Got a much better beard than myself, that is for sure. Nicely taken by Apalele Fasi. Wrestle towards the touchline from Albert Tuisui. Then taken down by 2 Sharks players to get him out of there. Sharks is the first non-European team to win a European Cup, says Leonardo. And not many people would have predicted it either, would they? With the fact that, you know, the Stormers, the Bulls, and the Lions all getting knocked out of their respective competitions. Of course, there could be a URC title around the corner for any of those 3 sides. How many Sharks teams do you know in professional sports? I know the Cronulla Sharks, the Sharks in this case. There's a few. Oh, great cross kick. Makazole Mapimpi runs in the try. Doesn't have to pass that one, which is good news for anyone on his outside. But that is going to be the try now for the Sharks and Makazole Mapimpi. That should be the game now. I can't go to sleep. Need to see the end with my Sharks. Well done so far, says Unseen South African Sharks in rugby. Says Dakota. And also we have got there for another Sharks side, the Sale Sharks as well in rugby. And Gloucester are getting, or just starting, or just getting started watch. Sussex cricket team is known as the Sharks too. Your face will grow into your beard one day, Hamish. Cheers, Grant. One day we'll have a beard, hopefully. Yeah, tried the double-footed dive there, Makazole. We had all the time in the world to run that one in. But 20 minutes left now, and I would say that that is going to be the game. Carreras dropped his third in a row since the collision, says Jimbo. Yeah, I don't think he's 100% at the moment, Santiago Carreras. Of course, he's trying his best to put on a brave face and keep going, but he's had a lot of errors ever since that big collision with Makazole Mapimpi. Mapimpi has such a weird dive. It looks like he's about to launch himself into the air, and then he builds up and he does the big jump, and then he just kind of places it afterwards, doesn't he? But that kick has gone over from Masuku, still kicking at a brilliant percentage throughout this matchup. And now 36 points to 10, as your accent typical for a particular region in New Zealand. Are there big differences? The only big difference is kind of if you go really far down south, they kind of roll their R's a little bit. Now, I also roll my R, but that is just from doing so many games involving Afrikaans teams. Give the Hollywood Bet Sharks the trophy already, says Leonardo. Definitely all over now. I think the Sharks have another try in them, says Brian. And yeah, Gloucester are going to need 3 tries if they want to get themselves the victory in this contest. Beautiful striker of the ball, says Jimbo. But yeah, he did the big jump, Makazole Mapimpi, and then just kind of flattened out with his dive. He slams hard into the ground as well for Mapimpi. Plumtree and Neil Powell exchanging cuddles in the coaching box. They are extremely happy with how the Sharks side have gone in this Challenge Cup final. Major League Rugby in the US says 123 MS and the Miami Sharks in the MLR. Yeah, so there's a lot of sides with Sharks in their name, isn't there? It's a big scrum. Pops out the back door. Grant Williams does manage to grubber the ball forward. Running back Santiago Carreras. Hashtag Featherfin, says Leonardo there. The Sharks have got themselves another penalty. I didn't expect the Sharks to win like that, says Brandon. I know earlier on it was mentioned about the fact that I'm not going to say who it was who said it, but they pretty much said, why have 80% of people decided to back the Sharks in this game? Do they not know the ability of Gloucester? But in this case, they were right to back the Sharks, the 80%, because that is exactly who's going to win this game. Sharks doing a demolishing job so far, and we changed Hamish's accent. A nice Shark, says Hendrick. Everyone relax, I'm here now, says Rugby. Welcome in, mate. Of course, we've got more games coming up later on today, ladies and gents, with the Blues taking on the Crusaders in Super Rugby. Also, alongside that, we have got the game taking place between Leinster and Toulouse. That is going to be the Champions Cup final, so be sure keep an eye out for that one as well. Has that lady fallen asleep? Looks like she has. I think she's got her head resting on the bar, and she is now sleeping. But another 3 points will be taken here by the Sharks. They're just able to slowly close out this game at the moment and just keep on adding. I thought the game would be closer. Masuku missed. That is a rarity for that man to miss a kick. And a lot of Sharks teams, none of them non-European, ever won a European Cup, says Leonardo. I'm sure you got the Leinster versus Toulouse. I am thinking Leinster, but it's going to be interesting to see which way it ends up going. How did Sale, team in the middle of Manchester, call themselves the Sharks, says Fleshin. I think it was their connection to the South African side, wasn't it? Or maybe not, but I know that they do often have quite a few South African players at the Sale Sharks, so maybe that is something to do with it. I love when Hamish and I corrupted each other. Find myself saying, yeah, nah, and Hamish was saying, in it. I still do say in it as well, quite a bit. I've got mum saying in it too. And says MGL, I should say. But 15 minutes remaining. Sounds like there's a few more subs being made. Who's your man of the match? Oh, see, there's been a lot of great performances from certain players. Something that's been a little bit underrated is maybe the amount of work that the scrum has done for the Sharks. But I would probably give man of the match to either Pepsi Buthelezi, Sia Masuku, or possibly... Ooh. No, I don't know. I think probably out of those two, or maybe one of those front row players like I mentioned. This is the reject final. Hey, up mate, says Phil Bott, welcome in. And I was going to wait for your broadcast of Stad versus Leinster. You make it interesting. Says Afiwi there. Now passed on the outside for the Sharks. Yeah, we'll probably have about 15 minutes of build-up for that one as well, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure if you are new to hit that subscribe button. But the Sharks now in position. They will go back. Let's put our heads for the charm. And also, we have got Des Adonis's in it as well. We'll definitely regard that as a victory. Okay, it's going to be another penalty. And this one at scrum time. So they said that there was a twist at the hips. That is the 6th penalty against Gloucester at scrum time. And kind of sad I'm regretting not getting the Sharks jersey. It's going to be sold out by tomorrow. And Sharks playing at their potential, knew they can do it. With all those Springboks. Says Gloucester there. Well, that's the thing, that they've got so much potential, the Sharks. And when you look through at their squad, there's no reason that they shouldn't be winning games. And I feel like this one will be a big confidence booster for them moving forward. I think Masuku will be man of the match, or Eben, says Brandon there. I mean, Grant Williams has also been relatively decent in that 9 jersey throughout this game. Same Mapimpi for man of the match. I mean, he's been all right, Mapimpi, in this game. Like, he scored the try. He's gone up for a few high balls, but yeah, I don't know whether I'll give it to him in this game. I feel like it would be a little bit unlucky for other players if he was the one who got it. Could be worse, could be 90-0, says Gavin. That is true. Of course, they experienced that very recently, Gloucester. Will not want to experience it anytime soon again. The Bok team not up to par. Nowhere near challenging for the Real Cup. Too much money in France and Ireland now, says Rugby. Yeah, although the Springboks are still back-to-back world champions, so, you know, they could be the first team to put 3 in a row. And let's put our hands together for the Sharks. Says Anuku Liku. Hopefully I've said that correctly. A nice Kiwi accent, well-spoken, great memory of all those names well. Says Moa Hunters. Yeah, Gloucester's scrum coach at the moment. They are showing him on the screen. Of course, won't be a day that he is too happy about. Of course, Lewis Ludlam, or Ludlow, I should say, sorry. Also a little bit disappointed. I'm talking club rugby, not international. Says Rugby there. Yeah, although like the Bulls are doing all right. They're about 3rd at the moment on the URC. The Stormers aren't doing too badly either. Like, both sides still have full potential of making it through and winning the URC competition. Next season, the Sharks are taking the URC, says Leonardo. And we also have to remember they have got some big signings coming just around the corner. Whether that's going to be Andre Esterhazen, whether it's Trevor Nakanye. They've also got Jason Jenkins, I believe, going to the Sharks as well. We're being tough on the South African teams who had no box before Christmas, says Jimbo. And God forbid the World Cup's the Box winning the World Cup again. The reign is already long and boring enough. Ooh, those are fighting words, Sebastian. I'm sure there will be a few comments about that very soon. South African clubs have never been that amazing. Says, cool story, bro. Although, first Challenge Cup for a South African side. I'm sure that they will be very happy with that and look to extend on it for the season to come. But Grant Williams feeding the ball, and still 11 minutes remaining in this contest, ladies and gents. 26 points difference. Here comes Werner Koch. I think that's his first run throughout this game. Andre Pollard maybe, says Barry Green. And I thought the Sharks were winning Super Rugby, says Rugby there. 1-3 or 9, says Ilmar, for his man of the match. Yeah, like Vincent Cock's been very strong throughout this game as well, so that is a fair shout. Oxner Shay's had some good runs. That is almost turned over by Gloucester, but they can't quite get it. Masuku now. And behind Francois Fenta goes to Apalele Fassi, who looks for the touch line and gets the ball out. Fassi said on Tuesday, party was already planned. Check them all or nothing rugby. And thanks for bringing us the game, Hamish. You're a gem. Says Rourke, no worries at all. And of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new. We are back later on tonight, or later on today, I guess you could say, for the Crusaders versus Blues game. Also, we have got Leinster versus Toulouse for the final. We are doing the URC games next week, involving the South African sides, one of which being this game. Next game for the Sharks up against the Bulls. That is going to be a 4:05 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa on Saturday. Looks like Fezambata making his way onto the field, and Oxnishe, Umbanambi, and also Vincent Cock all making their way from. They certainly prove why they are all definitely in the running for the Springboks again. As the time frozen, says Otaku, every once in a while it does freeze a little bit, but it's also too far ahead, so I didn't want to let it tick over just in case it went up to 73, because we're only at 70 at the moment. South Africa are due to host the World Cup, 80% chance they will win that one, says Matthew. Yeah, they just need to get well, or to gel well, then the URC and Investec is theirs, says Leonardo. As well, why are the Crusaders so poor this year? They lost 13 All Blacks, which pretty much speaks for itself, I guess, or somewhere around that 13 All Blacks mark. No Whainā Nuku, no Richie Mo'unga, no, well, they have Cody Taylor now, no Sam Whitelock, Will Jordan's injured, Jack Goodhue's not there, Braden Enor's not there. Like, the list just goes on of players that they are missing at the moment. One's going to be kicked in touch by Gloucester after winning the penalty. And the Sevens, says Robert. Yep, Sevens next week. We are going to be covering on the channel as well, where we do get to see the champions crowned of the overall Sevens circuit. Sharks are missing some chemistry as a team, says 123MS. Lost Howe, retired, moved to Japan. A little bit of both, plus players moving to France as well. Mr. Incredible comes off, says Lollipop, overthrown by Gloucester. It goes straight into their hands now. Big run forward here. I think that is Zach Mercer. We have hardly been able to say that man's name throughout this game either. Little chip in behind. Attempted from Hastings. Kick forward from Johnny May. It's going to be a foot race, and Gloucester win it, and they score it. The assist goes to Johnny May. They're running it back, and it looks like they should probably just take this drop kick here rather than waiting for a kicking tee, Gloucester. When you look at the Southern Hemisphere clubs, Japan, the only ones with money. New Zealand and South Africa lose all the talent abroad now because they can't compete with the Czechs in France and Japan. Says Rugby, and thanks, Irish bro. Or bruh. Says, good story, bro, but that one has gone over now from Gloucester. And that is going to now make the score 17 points to 36. No excuses, Hammy. If the Satyrs lost, they lost. But they asked what was wrong with them, and I told them. So, I was just stating the fact. Should be a Sharks penalty, says I Lollipop. And still the Japanese team wouldn't beat the Kiwi sides despite the money, says Dakota. Right, they're actually going to check this one, so time has been turned off. They tried to rush it as quickly as they could there, Gloucester, to get it back to halfway. But I believe now they are going to have a look, see whether or not... Okay, I think... Okay, so what has happened here, ladies and gentlemen, is because he was in front of the first kicker, even though he was behind the second kicker, because he was in front of the first kicker, it is ruled as a no try. They have called it the DuPont law, so this try is not going to count. Okay, so unfamiliar with that one by the sounds of it for Ludlow. Really? Are there gentlemen here? As Crusaders on a 12-game losing streak? They are not, no. They've lost a lot of games this season, but not 12 in a row at this stage. They're on about a 7-match losing streak at the start of their season, though. And Johnny scored some wonderful tries in November. And oh, what a kicker. Says just in case. So the Sharks get themselves the penalty now as well, and that one is going to be disallowed for Gloucester. And we have there, well, he can keep his head so quiet. I thought my stream was freezing. Says Dakota. Yeah, I was just listening to the referee there. And Chiefs and Crusaders are not the beasts they were last year, Hamish. Why is that? Well, for the Crusaders, if I mention that they've got a whole heap of players missing, then people get angry. The Chiefs, they've got a fantastic side on paper. They just at times have been lacking a little bit of clinicalness throughout their season, but they are still going to be in the top 4, and they have still got a great opportunity of still going on to win Super Rugby. It is just going to take a little bit of work. Varney should have started, says Eric. He probably would have been the better option in the starting lineup, to be honest, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Of course, we can say that now that we've seen that, Inglefield's had a bit of a mixed game. Masuku with a flat ball there to Machunu. Now, right, goes across to Masuku again. For me, it's definitely close to that man of the match, but that is going to be the penalty going the way of Gloucester now after 6 phases. These law changes haven't happened yet. Says a lollipop. They've taken that one quickly, and Werner Koch walks the tightrope and manages to keep that ball in the field of play, boots it into touch. But it's actually been taken back by Werner Koch, so a bit of a mistake there after some brilliance from that man. I stopped talking other stuff, keep it the game. Says MJ, I mean, during the game we've still been calling it, but there's also been stoppages, which is normally when we do read the other chat, just like this one. I mean, I could tell you that Vincent Koch has just placed his bum on the grass on the sideline, and that's about it. He has actually got the man of the match, though, for Vincent Koch. What's your thought on bringing back Richie Mo'unga? Surely all the Kiwis want him back. They're a little bit split because Mackenzie's done very well in the 10. Rules, says MJ. What do you mean rules? But now, that is going to be a knock on there, I believe, from the Sharks, or at least that ball has been trapped in again by Gloucester, who have done that 3 times, I believe, throughout this contest. He didn't say he was born on February 29th, regarding celebrating birthdays, really. And these officials are getting even better, says Fleshin. So we stay in the championship. Yeah, he says, cool story, bro, as well. One moment, I am about to sneeze. Here we go, we are good. We have got Don't Be a Muppet MJ from Gareth. I've either say it is better than the other Northern Hemisphere, Northern Ireland teams. Just in general, not this season, of course. They are the lowest of all sides from New Zealand, but they just seem to have a very strong team that just kept on building, and they're in a position at the moment where they're trying to rebuild. The Sharks, I don't think there's many comparisons that can be made, but one of them could be the fact that they're in a position where they've got all the talent in the world. It's just about finding what works at the moment for the Sharks side, and whatever they've done in this game, of course, it has looked a lot stronger than we have seen throughout a majority of the URC. Gloucester in possession at the moment, sitting just outside of the 22. Chris Harris gets it away to Ackerman, puts it on the outside. Nice running down the wing. Ball on the inside from Clark, and Sukino will finish the job. Gloucester are going to try and run it back, but there just isn't enough time left. But they seem like if they had actually shown this intensity from, I don't know, the start of the second half, they could have actually been in this contest a little bit more. But now lining up this kick, it's going to be Adam Hastings. Rugby 7's game between all the Muppets characters would be fun. I'm picking Big Bird on my team. Big Bird's Sesame Street, though, isn't he, rather than the Muppets? That one is going to be going over. And nothing as sexy as a speedy hooker, says Jimbo. But yeah, nice work from Gloucester. Chris Harris, he's been almost shut out of this game. And the reason for that is just being purely because of the way that the Sharks have been able to rush up and stop any momentum from continuing to be created. Now, hang on. Are we looking for something else here to rule out this try? Commentating and chatting, I call it an all-round viewing experience. Multitasking well, thanks, bro. Says Clinton, no worries at all. And it's going to be kicked off here as well. Now Mercer inside of his own 22. I'll go for Animal at the breakdown. Says Gavin. Stolen by the Sharks. Speaking of work in the breakdown, he had the pass on the outside to Werner Koch if he wanted it. But I don't think he ever saw it. Cameron Wright tries to snipe. And he's going to be dragged down 2 metres out. Penalty goes the way of Gloucester. Yes, you're right, Hamish. He's a foreign import. Says Brian. And bless you, says MJ. And yes, you're right, Hamish. But now 3 minutes left, Gloucester. They will look for the touchline again here. James Fenter has gone from the field, and that is actually for his replacement, Dylan Richardson. Oh, sorry, not Dylan. It is... Oh, no, it is Dylan Richardson, sorry. We have got that. Hamish, would you sign for a French or Japanese YouTube channel? Probably Japanese, just because I'd be old. Like, I have more chance, I think, of learning Japanese than French. And a lot of you to go through today, Hammy. Busy day, AC Spider-Man. Yeah, there's quite a bit on, but we are going to be covering it all, or at least some of it anyway. Sharks, of course, this game taking place, but we've got the Champions Cup final taking place later on tonight. That is between Toulouse and Leinster. We're also covering the Blues versus Crusaders. Massive shot coming in from Eben Etzebeth on Hastings. Flew up out of the line. They haven't held the number 22, Lou Allen. And the ball's going to be stolen again by the Sharks. Vincent Tsuka slapped on by Eben Etzebeth. Now Dylan Richardson breaking through. Tries to fend. It's going to be knocked on by Kerwin Bosch. Still 2 minutes left. What do you think about the changing of the law for a team that can't opt for a scrum when a team gets a penalty? Says Leonardo. It's an interesting one. Of course, until we get to see it in action, we won't really know what type of difference it's going to make. Great passing here from Gloucester. They get it out wide. Just losing his footing there. But gets back up. Has the draw and pass. It's going to be another try for Gloucester. Where was this 25 minutes ago? It's going to be Freddie Clark who scores the try now. Thank you, Hamish. See you tomorrow. So glad the Sharks won. Are you at home or sitting in some studio? I am at home with a green screen up. And thank you, Hamish. Appreciate the effort given in your work. I started watching you during the World Cup. Have not stopped, says David. And yeah, it is greatly appreciated for you ones, or you guys and gals who did stick around after that Rugby World Cup. Of course, we're almost back into the international window. It's been around maybe 6 months or so, maybe even a little bit longer since our last live stream of an international game. And that one has missed. And we have got their Sharks defending like demons. And how about the Swedish chef at scrum half? This is Kevin. But yeah, Gloucester, like, I mean, they're making the score reasonable, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that they have been lackluster throughout this game, and the Sharks have just looked like the strongest side. Last 10 minutes or so, Gloucester have looked a lot better. And thanks again, Hamish, for the great commentary. See you later. Says Roof. The ref stopped Gloucester from playing. And thanks for the tops commentary, Hamish. And thanks for the great flavour in the comments, peeps. Says Gurudus. And now Gloucester. Still 12 seconds remaining on the clock. I mean, they can get themselves one more try, which would be nice because I did say that this game would be split by less than 10. Looking for the offload. Still a chance that the Sharks could get themselves one more there. They're inside of their in-goal area here, Gloucester. And under immense pressure from the Sharks side. Do they want to try and run this one out? It does look like they're going to throw everything into it, Gloucester, for the final moments of this contest. Back into the pocket. Now looking to attack there. Chris Harris runs it straight at Fezambata. Now off to the right. We're already seeing, I think the difference is Varney, to be honest, in terms of the way that this ball has been getting out of the breakdowns. He's looking like a much more efficient halfback than Inglefield, who did start this game. Albert Tuisui now, 10 metres from the line. All thought about the kicking option for Santiago Herreras. Changes direction. Now another offload. That'll be knocked on. And now the big man, Janro Jacobs. He's going to be held up. And that will be the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. But it is the win for the Sharks. For the first time in history, a South African side will win either the Challenge or the Champions Cup. And it is going to the Hollywood Bet Sharks, the champions of the Challenge Cup. And that is a big one for them, of course. They could be the only side from South Africa with a trophy in the cabinet at the end of the season. Of course, for the Bulls, the Stormers, and the Lions, that is the last thing that they will be hoping. They will be hoping for that URC title to be going to South Africa as well. But a big win for the Sharks side. Massive performance from their front row. Scrum time, they were dominant. Eben Etzebeth did really live up to that enforcer nickname that we have given him from here in Stellenbosch, South Africa. Cheers to all of you for watching till the end. Cheers, Clinton there. And we have got there. Hamish slept with my ex-girlfriend during the World Cup. She was with me at the time. Wait, if she was with you at the time, then surely I couldn't have done that, Rugby. Unless you were also in the room. And thanks, Hamish. Go to Sharks. Says Albert. And there as well. Thanks, Hamish, and a good night. That's the problem. Our country keeps pushing quality players down and implement government stuff. Keep rugby from politics and enjoy this. Congrats, Sharks. I knew you guys could do it. Great win for the Sharks. Thanks for the brilliant commentary, Hamish. The wife is calling me into the bedroom, holding a big jar of Nutella. Well, it sounds like you're going to have a fun evening by the sounds of it, Brian. So enjoy yourself. That's everyone. Happy URC teams. Position 6 to 10th. Who are not happy campers tonight. Says Gavin. And there's Ox, a normal first name for kids in South Africa, says Dakota. I mean, it's probably a much more popular nickname ever since Ox Nishe broke onto the scene in international rugby. A lot of people will be naming their kids after the big Ox. I'll see you tomorrow for the boys in blue game. Says Richard. So yeah, the next game that we have got, ladies and gentlemen, will be taking place in about 10 hours' time. That is going to be the game between the Blues and the Crusaders. And then also alongside that, we have got the game of the Champions Cup that we are covering on the channel. And that one is going to be the game taking place between the Leinster side and Toulouse. And that final, not just South African side, but a non-European team to win a European Cup. Says Leonardo, and cheers all. Thanks to Gloucester, well done Sharks. Says David. And there's other big boys up next. Says Jimbo. But yeah, we got plenty more commentary. And also on Sunday, we are covering the Fijian Drive versus Highlanders game. Next week, we've got the 2 South African derbies in the URC alongside the Sevens, where we will get to call some blitzbox action. Super Rugby continues. And a whole heap of exciting rugby just around the corner. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.